Hey guys, it's Thurston, and I have my friend Amanda here.
Hey.
Yeah. And I decided to do a video for 1,000 followers. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. And I invited Amanda here because I am terrible at talking to myself, and I probably would not talk very well at all if someone else wasn't here with me.
I feel that. I think our combined forces just produces one solid audio to people.
True. Let's hope that it prevails. Because I can already feel the anxiety coming on. So anyway,
You got this.
Yeah, so what we're going to be talking about is like how I draw and Nightmare and his boys, because I assume that you guys probably followed me for Nightmare stuff, since that's when a lot of people started following me. And just like some plans for the future, like some maybe stuff. Okay, so that's pretty much all we're going to be talking about.
Sounds good. So we'll start at the very beginning. Tell me about how you draw, about your process, inspiration, whatever you want to tell all of us.
Yeah, so I've had a few people, quite a few people, tell me before that they recognize my style from somewhere, even though they know that I have an account and all, on Twitter. But they will tell me that they recognize it from somewhere. So I assume that is because I reference other popular artists. The main one being like the Grinning Kitten. I reference how that person draws heads, and expressions and stuff. So they actually did a tutorial before. I don't know if it's still around or not, since that was years ago, but they did a tutorial on how they draw heads and faces. So I assume that a lot of what people are seeing from me reminds them of their style. But of course I don't just completely copy their style, because I also reference other artists and stuff. Like, recently I started referencing The Slowest Henry, how they draw skeleton hands and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, for bodies, I still am not very good at doing it myself, but I don't really reference anyone particular for that.
Right.
I just try to put shapes down and see what works, which ends up with a lot of erasing and correcting. I'm still trying to figure out how, like, a better way to draw bodies and stuff.
I think that's an interesting point too, because I feel like this community, this fandom, as an artist as well, we all kind of learn from one another, especially with just tutorials being out there. They're so helpful, and it just helps you like give a base, a base sort of way to draw, and then from there, and I've seen it with your style, you start with something, and then the more you do it, your own style comes out and it evolves. So
yeah,
always a big fan of tutorials.
Yeah, and it's never like shameful to use references or anything. Like, there are a lot of artists who try to aspire to get to the point where they don't need references anymore to draw something, and that's great. But references do help, even if it's from other artists. And I have seen videos made before of people who will tell you that it's okay to reference from other artists. Just like, don't reference completely from one. Just have multiple sources.
I remember going to a convention where I went to an art panel. This artist was phenomenal. They do a lot of fantasy art. They do a lot of dragons. We have one of the prints on the wall, and honestly, they were teaching how to draw, and they're like references. Now, dragons don't exist, sadly.
Oh, I would love if dragons did exist. If you couldn't tell, dragons are my favorite thing. That's why I have a dragon for Asana.
But they are just like, get references, make your own references, and for dragons in this case, it was nature reference, reference reptiles. But I mean, obviously, for the Undertale fandom, it's more so learning from other artists, shaping your own style. I mean, there's some people who refer to just true anatomy and skeletal, just like a natural human skeleton, where other people take more of, I don't want to say, well, some people do the cartoony look, but like, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Like realism and stuff? Or stylized?
Yeah, stylized versus realistic. And both are so lovely. I mean, like, you and I our styles are different, but neither of us do really realistic stuff.
I could not draw a rib cage to save my life.
So. Style. I did it a few times, and I'm like, this isn't fun. But
that's like the main thing that I try to reference is like a more cartoony style and less realistic. Because the more you go into realism, the harder it gets. So I prefer to just have an easy time drawing.
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it. Plus, like, it's eye-catching.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we covered that pretty well. The next bit would definitely be Nightmare in the Biddy. Not Biddy, sorry.
Biddies are for another topic entirely.
Nightmare and the Baby Bone Sands is, how did that come to be? More about the boys, things like that. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I think that's when people really started coming in and noticing my art more, was when I started doing Nightmare and the Baby Bone Sanses, or the Tot Squad, as I sometimes call them. So I am actually not the first one to come up with that idea, even though I tend to do it a lot. I actually saw like a few other artists like play with the idea, just like do one-off drawings of it. But I never found anyone actually go anywhere with it. So I am possibly the first one to actually expand on the idea. So I thought, why not? Why not see where it goes?
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I do see, like, from time to time Baby Bone stuff, but like you said, it doesn't really go into a whole story, and there's different variations, of course, because Undertale fandom. But yeah, it's always good to see another version, somebody else's idea on it.
Yeah, and it started out as just like small things, like a doodle here and there, and I really wanted to keep going with it, but I just didn't feel confident enough in myself to like make a drawing every day or like do an entire comic series on it. So I thought that maybe I can make a compromise by just doing doodles every now and then, and also have like little writings of it. So that's where the fic started. And And the fic, it started out as just me doing little travels and stuff, like random stuff that happens sometimes. But then it started getting more and more serious, getting longer and longer, and now it's just basically a full fic.
That's sort of fun when it kind of starts out as something small and then just more and more ideas start coming to you. So,
yeah,
really good on that.
Yeah, and like, if people didn't like it as much as they did, I probably would have stopped. It probably would have just been another one-off thing.
Yeah.
Like it has been with everyone else. Just draw it once, maybe talk about it a little bit, and then forget about it the next day. So if people hadn't liked it so much, it probably would be gone like months ago.
Right. Let's see, what else? Oh, well, brain fart. Don't worry, I got this. I'm a professional. You are a professional.
We're all professionals here, even though we aren't public speakers at all.
So you were saying that you were doing little stories and then it developed. Did like, how structured do you feel that your chapters are, or is it still like kind of not spur of the moment, but I have an idea and this would fit perfectly, or do you try to like bullet them or anything like that?
Yeah, it's very, very helpful to make a bulleted list instead of trying to come up with ideas on the fly. That's actually what I started out doing from the very start. I've had this kind of long list of things that I want to happen, and I still have not gotten through that list. And I've never had to like wonder, like, what am I going to do next? And I'm just completely out of ideas because I just wrote them all down while I was brainstorming, and I never had to think about it again because it's all in the list. Of course, you don't have to do that, but it will be a lot harder if you don't.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like I could benefit so much more from just a little bit of structure. So definitely good that, you do that, and
yeah, and I still try to
take time to make sure you get those ideas down.
Yeah, and I still try to add to the list because it is getting shorter now. Now that I've gotten through so much of it, and I've been trying to figure out how it will end, because I feel like having a clear idea of how you want it to end will help you do the in-between stuff, like leading up to that. I have an idea of how it will end, but I'm not sure about it. I might change it.
Yeah. Well, definitely going to be excited to see it.
Yeah,
you go.
I was just going to mention that several people have told me that they're excited to see it, and I need to get back to writing it and stop procrastinating.
Yeah, it's hard during this time because you got the holidays and obligations. But I'm sure, I know how you are. You'll pick it right up and get a lot of good content out there.
Yeah, I just need to get back into the inspiration and the writing and all.
So I remember when you told me about the boys' names and coming up with the designs. I'd really like for you to kind of expand on that more, and also I'm not sure like how many people know that the boys have their own individual names.
Yeah, the thing that happened was I wanted to give them their own unique names because I was worried that people would try to say that I'm stealing from them and all. So I just changed their names and changed their whole look and everything. so that, because I didn't want anyone trying to accuse me of theft and all. And their names actually have meaning. I didn't just pick them for no reason. There is a reason. It just has not been said yet, because it's something that I want to bring up in the fic. So it's a plot point. So it would probably be spoiler for me to just say what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah. And for their designs, I literally just tried to think of something that looked cute on them, or that I liked. So a lot of it is just black and white, except for with Horror. He's the more colorful one, because I feel like his personality fits that. He's just full of colors and life and all. Just really happy in his own little world, not even paying attention to everyone else around him.
Yeah. I think that's good because again, multiple universes, just, AUs split off of all different ones, and to be honest, at this point, the boys kind of have their own personalities that are like up and beyond their source material anyway.
Yeah,
so.
And speaking of them like being their own thing, I have pondered the idea of just making them into their own original characters, like a completely different world separate from Undertale AUs.
Yeah, so it's kind of good that they are their own. They can become their own entity and kind of carry on past Undertale. But I mean, at this time, it's still within the fandom.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would probably still keep them as skeletons. Maybe, I have been thinking about it, like maybe make them more like dragon-like. Like they have little horns and wings and tails.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
And just be little dragon babies, and then Nightmare is this big, ferocious dragon. And meanwhile, he just has these little tots that just run around.
Oh my god, that's so cute. That makes me think of I think you posted this. The I don't know if it was a curse or just magic or whatever, but the kiddos getting like the tails and the ear tails and ears.
Oh, the wolf thing. I actually was planning to continue that, but I never did. Where it just continues spreading to all of them, like the wolf ears.
Oh my god, please, because it reminds me of like some of your older stuff, which I really like too.
Oh yeah, I did, like years ago, I had a wolf custard ship. And they had little puppies. But I have, and someone has asked me before if I could do that again. And I didn't answer them. Their little question is still sitting in my Ask box on Tumblr.
Oh no. It's mine, guys. It's secrets out. It's my Ask. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, I just never answered it because I had never felt like drawing it again.
Yeah, it happens. But speaking of canon, how about that Christmas chapter?
Yeah, that's not canon. It was just a one-off thing that I wanted to do for Christmas. The idea popped into my mind, and I was like, you know what? This should be a Christmas chapter. Since Christmas is coming up, get in the holiday spirit, holiday sadness.
Yeah.
Like, and while it might not be canon, the feelings are canon. Like, what Nightmare is going through, that is canon. Like, he does feel this way about Dream, and Dream does feel this way about Nightmare, obviously. He's constantly saying it. But Nightmare is one who would not say this. He would not tell anybody. He would just keep these feelings to himself. Like, if Dream did actually go to his house on Christmas and be like, I want to spend time with you, he would either attack him on the spot, or just slam the door in his face. He would not want to talk.
I feel that. I relate. No, I'm kidding. I do also want to ask, my favorite boy, I can't remember if he has been posted, my absolute favorite young fella. He's out there, right?
Oh yeah, Error. Yeah, he's in the fic, and I've been tweeting drawings of him. Few.
I couldn't. Okay, the reason I ask is because, like, I know you send me art, like we send each other art, and it's like, oh, I know about this, and I was just thinking to myself, like, oh my god, like, has Saracen like not introduced them yet? Because I want to talk about my favorite baby boy.
Yeah, I even let you roleplay as him.
Yeah, he's so good. I just wanted to mention that he is my favorite. He is sweet baby boy. So is Horror. He's my other favorite.
And that's actually why Error or Wrath is wearing a fox suit. Is because of Mana. Because Mana's Sana. Mana Sana is a fox.
Yeah. And I was just, I love Errors. They're one of my favorites. So when I found out, like, this little baby who is just, I don't want to say bastard Error, but like some errors, like, you know.
He's a really angry baby. Yeah. Just always really perturbed.
And then, yeah, like I said, Horror is my other favorite because I don't know what it is. I just think he's so funny.
Yeah. Literally his entire trope is just eating.
I feel that.
Anytime you ever wonder, like, I wonder what he's thinking right now. It's food. It's always food.
It's usually chicken nuggies.
Yeah. Or just anything edible.
But I do love all of the baby bones. I love Nightmare so much.
Yeah.
He is the best dad who's not actually a dad, who, like, you know, I see you have the adoption papers, but, you know, go off. I guess you're not dad.
That's also another thing. People keep saying that he's the best dad, and I'm always like, but he's being very manipulative to them, which is something that I talked about before in a server, is that I never realized just how manipulative he has been being until I watched a video of this therapist reacting to Tangled, the movie, and talking about gaslighting. Oh. And then it hit me that is exactly what Nightmare is doing. He's making them question themselves, because there is a line in the fic where Cross is like asking him, "Are you going to kick us out if we don't do what you tell us to?" Mm-hmm. And he tells them, "You don't have to, but who's going to protect you from Dream if I'm gone?" So yeah, he's making him question his own thoughts. So that is pretty much what gaslighting is.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, I know that I just said, like, oh, he's the best dad. But, I mean, he's a nightmare. He has some severe problems, obviously, because, like, that's not okay to do to the kids. I think maybe a lot of us kind of hope that maybe he'll warm up to them. Maybe he won't. I don't know. He's a nightmare.
I mean, I see that he would. I would say that he would. Canonly, like, Jaku's canon would probably be no. But my canon is yes, but don't get your hopes up. Because yes, he will warm up to them, but it might not be on the level that you're hoping for.
Yeah, so no big expectations.
Yeah.
I think it's also funny. I know you and I do this, but whenever we have a boy who's not so good, even if like their character is not the greatest, we just kind of look at them and go, "Oh yeah, he's so good." It's like, no.
Yeah, and it's funny because like years ago, I had this, like way years ago, back when I first joined the Undertale community, I had this character called Curse, and he was supposed to be like this completely villain, awful person, irredeemable, just really crazy, and anytime anyone would see him, they would be like, "Oh, he's so cute." And I would get so angry. But nowadays, when people are like, "Oh, Nightmare's so cute," I'm just like, "Yep."
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me anymore, which I'm not a teenager anymore. So, as a teenager, you go through a lot of anger spells. So.
That's true. Yeah, some people just, they like villains. They like characters that aren't too good, which, I mean, no shade. Again, one of my favorites are Errors, so I mean, and the other one is Fells.
Fells are great.
Are just questionable. Yeah, Fells are so good. If you want to listen to us just talk for 2 hours about Fell, and Classic and Custard, but no, anyway. So do you have any like plans? I know you have plans for the future, but anything?
Yeah, I discuss everything with you.
Maybe like anything that you want to share now, or is it all kind of shush secret for now?
Well, if I do have ideas, but I would not recommend holding me to them. Because I do have this idea that I want to make like a visual novel type game for Nightmare and his boys.
Ooh, I love visual novels.
Yeah. And, but I'm still very indecisive with it. So don't get your hopes up, but it is something that I do want to do, but it's a big maybe.
So, fair enough. Is there anything else that you want to go over, you want to say to your followers? And
I guess I could answer a question that I've been seeing recently. Because I tweeted out that Nightmare comic, like the first 2 pages of it, and I've had several people ask me if this is like that AU where Nightmare goes in the past, and I'm just wondering what is that? I've never heard of that before. But no, it's not entirely like that. It's not what you think it is anyway. Like there's not going to be a second Nightmare. Like the second younger version of Nightmare. It is just him. Which you will probably find out when the next 2 pages come out, which I'm almost finished with. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much all I wanted to answer.
Right. Yeah, I try not to guess what's going on until I have more info. Like, I've looked at the comic. You usually see me just going, ooh, or just eyes, because I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for the ride. I can't wait to see where it goes. Always very interested.
Yeah, and it's not... I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask about that kind of stuff, because I like seeing what you guys think it is and all.
True. Yeah.
I just can't answer it because it would be a spoiler.
Yeah.
But I did answer that, though. I sort of, because it's not what you think it is, but it is kind of what it is.
Yeah. And we'll be waiting. We'll be seeing where it goes, and it'll be enjoyable.
Yeah. I hope so anyway.
I think that's about it.
Yep, I think that's it. Well, thank you to anyone who watched this, and hopefully you found it somewhat enjoyable, and because we are probably not having as much of an enjoyment.
We're professionals. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
we got it.
We're professionals. We're always cool with it.
Again, congrats on 1,000 followers. That's awesome.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who followed me. I never would have thought that I would have gotten this far. So thank you all so much. And that's pretty much it. Okay, bye.
Bye.